Hello, 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 and welcome back to my channel, Life, Food, and Fun TV.
Come in, have a seat while I dish up some information.
Welcome you guys to my table. Have a seat, and let's get started. So today I just wanted to discuss something about patient rights. Since I've been in the hospital, I have decided to come on here and share information. So there'll be lots of information that I will be sharing with you guys. The information that I will share will be about health, patient rights, exercise. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this platform to inform others that might not know about certain things. And if I can come here and help somebody else, then that's great. That's what I want to do. So today I'm going to discuss a situation I had when I was in the hospital. I'm going to discuss a situation I had in the hospital. So this was a day before I was going home. It was last Saturday, well, the day before Father's Day, because I went home on Father's Day. So it was the day before Father's Day. So it was that Saturday. And I was still in the hospital. I happened to touch my leg and I felt like a lump on my leg. And I didn't have any type of redness or bruising, but I had like a lump and it was tender to the touch. And so the nurse that was on that shift, I called her in and told her about it and told her I would like to get an ultrasound of my legs or a Doppler of my legs just to make sure I did not have any type of blood clots. And so she said, that's fine, but we're getting ready to change shifts. So I'm going to tell the next nurse to, inform the doctor and see if he can put in an order so that you can get that done. Okay, so she did bring in the next nurse who was taking over from her shift. And she explained everything to her. And this young lady decided to interrupt, and she went on to say, well, have you had any Dopplers since you've been here? And I said, I think I had one, if not two. I might have. But this is the situation right now, and I want another one. And so she proceeds, this is a nurse now, she proceeds to say, well, if you've had scans of your legs already, I don't think a blood clot is going to be there. Excuse me? Excuse me? That doesn't even make sense. That does not even make sense because you didn't want to contact the doctor and write up orders for me to go get a scan, which the doctor, I believe, write the orders. All you had to do was contact the doctor. I dare you tell me that you don't think I need another scan when I'm telling you what's on my leg. And I had her come feel it so she can feel it. It was like right under the knee area, like to the side of it. It was just like a little bump. And it was tender to the touch. Now, blood clots, they're usually very painful. This wasn't very painful. Every blood clot can be different. So I wanted to have my leg checked to make sure April did not have another blood clot, because the blood clot is what caused the issue in the beginning. So I wanted to make sure I didn't have a blood clot. And I was speaking up for me. I was being my own advocate. Yes, and you have to sometimes be your own advocate and speak up for yourself, or have family members with you. Don't leave, please, your family members in hospitals, nursing homes alone. You should always have someone with you if you're not able to speak up. So, let me finish telling you. So, I said, listen here, because she acted like she didn't want me to get it done, making those type of statements. And then she, proceeded to tell me the characteristics of a blood clot. Well, usually it's really red in the area. No, but it has two signs of the blood clot. It's tender to me, to the touch, and there's a lump there. No, it didn't have the redness. It didn't have the third sign, but that doesn't mean it wasn't a blood clot. So I said, let me tell you something. If something happened to me here in this hospital, I'm telling you. She said, oh, no. I'm not a doctor, so I'm going to let the doctor make that decision. Okay. I said, okay, that's right. You're not a doctor. Let the doctor make the decision whether I should have it or not. Yep, I told her that. That's right, you're not. You're a profession and you're a nurse, and I respect nurses, but you're not the doctor. And you have a lot of nerve on telling someone whether they should go get another scan or not. Think about your mother, your loved one, laying there and feeling something is wrong, and the nurse trying to tell them don't do it. You know, like you had scans already. Like, okay, if you had a scan, does that stop blood clots from still forming? That doesn't make sense. Okay, so, like I said, she said, no. I'm not the doctor. I'm going to consult with the doctor. Okay, yeah, you do that because you're not the doctor. So she left my room, and it was like a couple of hours that she never even came back to say, I contacted the doctor and he wrote up orders, or he said he don't think you should get it, or nothing. And I let it go because I am a healthcare professional, and I do understand that she has more than one patient and it's pretty busy, you know. So I didn't want to just like harass her or anything, but I did give her a few hours and I gave her time. So by that time, my husband walks in the room to come visit after work, and I'm explaining to him the situation as to what happened. And he said, oh, how does your nurse look? And I explained to him how she looks. He said, oh, so that was her at the front desk with somebody else discussing you. I said, no, she probably was discussing another situation that she did that was so unprofessional. And he said they were saying something about blood pressure. I said, oh, yeah. I asked her when she came in to give me my meds, because let me start from the beginning of that. So the patient care tech was at my room, and she took my blood pressure and it was pretty low. So I told her I'm concerned about that blood pressure. Being that I'm a healthcare professional, I know stuff, and I'm not going to sit there and be quiet. Now, I'm not going to try to act like Miss Know-It-All while I'm in there, because I am not a nurse or anything, but I do know I was a medical assistant, so I do know about vitals, and I know that my blood pressure was low. So the patient care tech said, well, the nurse is getting ready to come give you your meds, so when she comes in the next 30 minutes, just ask her if she could redo your blood pressure. And I said, oh, okay, that's fine. You know, I'm not like a hard person to get along with. You know, I tried to make it easy and simple for them and not be, you know, pushy. So I said, okay, that's fine. When she comes in, I'll ask her to retake it. And I let her go, and she left. And so the nurse did come back. This was before my husband came in, and she gave me my medications. And I said, can you please because when the patient care tech took my blood pressure, it was low. And I asked her to redo it in a little while, and she said, wait for you to come give me my meds and ask you. Here's what she did. Oh, no, 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 no. I'm doing meds. I'm doing meds right now. Yeah, I'm giving patient meds. Let the patient care tech come back and retake it. I'll tell her. I'll let her know. So, okay. So, I said, oh, okay, that's fine. So the patient care tech did come back because she was doing rounds and giving patients water. So she came back to give me some water. And I said, excuse me, young lady. The nurse said when you come back to ask you to do the blood pressure. I said, I don't know what's going on, but now she put it back to you. And she said, oh, that's fine. That's okay. I'll do it. I said, okay, thank you. So she retook my blood pressure. So that's what they were at the front desk discussing, maybe that I was being a pain in the butt or whatever, but I wasn't. I was asking you to do something that it's okay to ask as a patient for you to retake my blood pressure because I had a concern it was low. I asked also for you to get an order from a doctor so I could do a Doppler again because I felt that lump in my leg and it was tender to the touch. Yeah, it's okay to ask those things as a patient. Know your rights, guys. Know your rights and know what you can ask and what you can't ask. So, okay, they were up there discussing me. I told my husband, I don't care what they up there discussing. I know one thing, I told him the whole story, that what I did ask her to do, and she hasn't come back here yet, and it's been a couple of hours to say whether the doctor wrote up an order or not. And he said, what? He was saying, no. I'm going to get the charge nurse. So my husband proceeded to go back to the front to get a charge nurse. So the charge nurse came in. She was pretty nice and professional. And she asked me what was the issue, and I told her what the issue was. I said, I asked the nurse to see if the doctor can write up an order for me to get another scan, because I'm concerned about this lump in my leg and tenderness. I said, it's not red, and maybe she feels because it's not red or because I had scans of my leg when I came in the hospital that it's not a blood clot. Me as the patient feels that I need to get another scan. So I want someone to call the doctor and see if he can write up an order. She came back within maybe 20 minutes or so, the charge nurse, and she said, I contacted the doctor and he has written up an order for you to get a leg scan. But the only thing is that they're closed right now because it's late, and you'll have to wait until the morning to get a scan because they have no transportations to get you there. I don't think the scan area was closed. It's just transportation was closed, so there was no way for me to get there. So, okay. Which I think is weird that they don't have transportation working in the middle of the night. Suppose there's an emergency and the patient has to be transferred from one area to the other to get an MRI or something in an emergency. I thought that was weird. But anyway, okay. They didn't have anyone to transport me. So she said, tomorrow you're supposed to be going home, but you're going to have to wait because they're going to come get you tomorrow. I was like, that's fine. Going home is not as important as me getting that scan. So I'll go home after I get the scan and know what the results were. Okay? So that's fine. Now, come on. It took her 20, 30 minutes tops to go contact a doctor and get an order. What was Miss Lady doing? What was she doing, the nurse? So unprofessional to tell me that, oh, you had a couple of scans already. I don't think a blood clot has formed. Another blood clot has came. What? Who's stupid? Me or you? It's not me, because April gonna speak up for herself. So anyway, the next day they did come in the morning before I went home, transport, and they took me to get a scan. And even the radiologist who does the scan, the tech who does the scan, she felt the lump there, and she said, yeah, let me make sure I get a good view of this. And she was getting a good view of it. So before I came back to my room, and then before I went home, a doctor came in to see me, and he told me, you don't have a blood clot, but you do have a hematoma there. And this is what a hematoma is, guys. So there was some blood there, actually, that formed into like a kind of like a clot, and it got hard there, and that's why it was tender, which was a little concerning, but not as concerning as the blood clot. But it was a little concerning because I believe those start from blood clots. But I'm going to put the information up here for you to read it, what hematomas are. So guys, just remember, as a patient, you do have rights. Your family have rights. You can request to have something done without being told you had one before. They're not paying for it. Your insurance is paying for it. Let your insurance question why you had a second or third one. Who are you? Who are you to tell me that? No. Know your rights, guys. When you are in a hospital or in a nursing home, make sure your family know their rights. Don't let no one tell you that, no, you don't need it or whatever, because it's not them. It's you. And God forbid it was a blood clot and something happened. Thank God it wasn't. But guys, this is it for today, and I want to say thank you for coming to my table. And this is part 1, and I will be back to discuss more informational things at the table. Bye for now.